Yeah. So listen, Andy, let's just go ahead and get right into it because I know people want to hear where it's coming from. Okay. So this report, this audio clip that you're going to hear was clipped by my good buddy, Nick Central, host of the Bad Weather Fans podcast. So go check that out. And it's coming to you from Carton Roberts on WFAN. So take a listen, and then we're going to talk about it, and we'll play it a few times throughout the show. All right, so here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Take a listen.
Rumblings, unconfirmed at this point, so I want to be very clear about that, that after last night's Knick win that everyone was at against the Chicago Bulls, we all saw Julius Randle storm off the court negatively after winning a game, that he has told the powers that be that he's done. He wants out. Now, that is an unconfirmed story. I don't want to say that it's legit or confirmed, but it's got some legs right now that the team saw him walk off the court as if they had lost, went to him after the game, and he has expressed to people in the know there, I'm done as a Knick. Oh.
Andy. Okay, Andy. Talk to me about what you just heard. And do you think there is... Well, let me say this before I even get to that. Once I heard this, I reached out to a guy that I know. And I asked him, I said, is there any truth to this rumor? And he couldn't confirm anything. You know, all he could say is he's seen where Julius Randle went, but he didn't see anything else. So as far as he knows, it's unconfirmed, and he doesn't know of any conversation. Right? But that doesn't mean that it's not true. All right? Remember, according to Carton Roberts, this is an unconfirmed report, but they feel like it has some legs. Go ahead, Andy.
Yes, listen, I think Julius Randle's body language is confirming it throughout the season. Let's say it that way. I read somewhere that it's unconfirmed because it was more like someone from his, entourage, whatever, said that he will do this exact thing after the season, right? So he wants to give them the courtesy and stuff like that. But we saw, like you said, after the last game that that we played the Bulls, he really rolled the ball and he didn't even go slap high fives with our players, right? So that's a really bad sign.
Yeah,
and we pointed out bad behavior by Julius throughout the season.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it goes worse and worse. He had several times that he could change it, change the narrative around, but it looks like it's not like even that he gave up. He just doesn't care. And listen, if you don't care in a relationship with the fans, with the team, with your friends, with the whole organization, I don't think it's a thing that you can repair so easily. It's easier to treat it good and stuff, and then just to repair it, right? So,
yeah, on last night's game, he looked very disinterested. And obviously he was having a bad game. He wasn't shooting well, so that could play into it. I think frustrations with him really reached a tipping point last night, not the season as a whole, but last night when he wasn't playing well and, the crowd started chanting for Obi to come in the game, and you're seeing right after that, he got the technical foul. He felt like whoever it was went over his back, said something to the referee after he got the rebound, got a technical foul. He goes out, Obi's coming in and there's cheers for Obi and things like that. So there was probably frustration all the way around with Julius Randle last night, from his poor play, the crowd chanting for Obi, and then, he walks off the court, doesn't congratulate his teammates, nothing like that, doesn't even go towards the bench, goes straight towards the locker room, throws the basketball, and, listen, he's an emotional guy. And, who knows if he said these things to whomever he said it to out of, pure emotion, or if that's what he's really feeling right now. I guess we'll find out when it gets closer to the end of the season. I'll say this, if it is true, they need to sit him for the rest of the season. He shouldn't be on the floor, right? If he says he doesn't want to be here, he wants out, he's tired, he's done as a Knick, what's the sense in playing him any minutes down the stretch of the season? I mean, some would argue there's no sense in playing him now. Let him rest his sore quad. But if this is the case, what's the point? Let him go home. Let him be with his family. Start figuring out what you're going to do for the remainder, not for the rest of the season, but, figure out what you're going to do. Start making phone calls, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The one big issue is, and it was similar with Ben Simmons, you'd be moving this guy at his very lowest point. At his very lowest point, if that were to happen, especially during the off season. You know what I mean? Because this is going to run right into the draft. It's going to run right into the off season. You'd be trading him at a very low point. Now, the Philadelphia 76ers were able to get James Harden out of the mix, right? But James Harden was having his own issues in Brooklyn. I don't know if you can do that with Julius Randle.
Yes, and listen, he has probably a easier to move contract than Ben Simmons had.
True.
We might not want a huge haul like the 76ers wanted for Ben Simmons, though this is really a situation where, he's kind of blackballing the organization, the Knicks, because we won't be able to get a fair price for him if the league knows that, we want to move him because he wants out. And the other situation is if he says to the new organization, to his agent, that he literally wants out because he feels like the Knicks didn't provide him with, I don't know, whatever, his issues were with the fan base, whatever, and they didn't do him, everything possible to support him, then, the new team could say, like, listen, we can do that for you. So we want you for this and that, but they're still going to negotiate with the Knicks, not with Julius Randle, right? So, that puts us a little bit in a disadvantage. But like we said, his contract is still fair. And I think we can get at least something for him. It's not like we're going to have to trade him for 2 second-round picks or something like that.
Right, and that is true. His contract is fair. I guess what I'm saying, and I know you understand what I'm saying. Now, even though we would still be able to get something for him, it's not going to be what we would have been able to get for him when he was at his highest. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's, very, very low. So people are going to be like, hey, he wants out anyway. If this is true, he wants out anyway. And, look at the issues that he's going through. This is all we can do. Or you got to take back a bad contract or something like that. You never know. You know what I mean? Because I'm pretty sure around the league, people know what's happening. So if there's something going on inside, then, maybe the Knicks can explain to whoever they're negotiating with, say, hey, listen, these are some things that were going on. But if this is true, and again, ladies and gentlemen, these are unconfirmed rumors, unconfirmed. I tried to call somebody to talk and ask some questions. Somebody that I know that could be close to the situation, and they couldn't confirm anything. But for those who were just joining us, this is what was said on Carton Roberts today about Julius Randle after last night's game. Take a listen.
Rumblings, unconfirmed at this point, so I want to be very clear about that after last night's Knick win that everyone was at against the Chicago Bulls, we all saw Julius Randle storm off the court negatively after winning a game that he has told the powers that be that he's done. He wants out. Now, that is an unconfirmed story. I don't want to say that it's legit or confirmed, but it's got some legs right now that the team saw him walk off the court as if they had lost, went to him after the game, and he has expressed to people in the know there, I'm done as a Knick.
Okay. I'm going to take a couple of phone calls. I want to know what you're thinking, ladies and gentlemen. I want to hear what you're thinking about this. Caller, You're live. Do me a favor. Turn that down in the back. Tell me your name and where you're from, and let me know what you're thinking.
Okay. I'm going to take a couple of phone calls. I want to know.
Hello, my man. You there?
I want to hear what you're
Oh, hey, how you doing?
Yeah, you got to turn that down in the back, bro.
Oh, you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah, peace to the panel. Yeah, I just want to talk about Julius Randle, about what happened yesterday. I don't know, like, his body language has been off, like, since, I would say, the beginning of the season. I don't know. I think I don't know. I just don't know what's his issue, man. Like, especially coming from last year, him being, most improved and, being an all-star, like, just coming into the season, like, he's just showing that he's just not a leader, which we all knew, So I just want to know what's your guys' take. Like, what do you think, or what team do you feel like will take Julius Randle at this point?
It's hard to say. I think the Utah Jazz could potentially be a good fit for Julius Randle, right? You're going out to a place where you're not going to have the same type of fans. You're not going to have the same type of media. There's a smaller market. He doesn't have to be the number one guy. You know what I mean?
Right.
You already got Donovan Mitchell there. You got Mike Conley out there as a good stabilizer. And, that kind of guard that can really get other people involved. So he doesn't have to be the primary ball handler. He doesn't have to be the primary scorer. So I think he would be a good fit in Utah. You know what I mean?
I was thinking Portland, too. I think that might be a good spot for him as well.
That could possibly be a good – I mean, there's some spots for him around the league. The
Mavs.
The Mavs could be a good fit for him. So there's definitely some spots for Julius Randle around the league. And that's home for him, too.
Oh. Right. Yeah, but, like, you can't be the leader of the team, the highest paid guy, and do what he did last night, Like, the game ended and you just see him, like, just walking off the court. That wasn't cool.
I mean,
you got Burks and Obi and all the guys celebrating, and he just walking off.
I would tend to say...
That's sending a bad signal to, the young guys on the team,
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And I would tend to say, I don't care how much you get paid or if you're supposed to be a leader or not. Any player, you know what I mean? It's going to be, it's a bad look. You, at the very least, go, be with your teammates, congratulate your teammates, and if you don't feel good about the way that you played, because it really could be he didn't feel good about the way that he played last night, and I'm pretty sure that, regardless of what these rumors, regardless of what these rumors, if these rumors are true or not, I'm sure he wasn't happy about the way that he played, you know what I mean? And with things going on with, the fans chanting for Obi and stuff like that, probably very, very, the frustrations were probably at way up there last night.
All-time high.
Yeah, but hey, my man.
You see it in his body language.
Yeah, I appreciate you, my man. Thank you for the call.
You guys take care.
All right, take care. Yeah, let me get to another phone call here. I know there's going to be a lot of people that want to call in and have something to say about this. Caller, you live. Tell me your name and where you're from, please.
Hey, what's up, Sims? Mike from Staten Island.
Mike, what's going on, man?
This is what's wrong with this team, Sims. This is what's wrong. You know why? Because if it's unconfirmed, why are they even bringing it up? Because this is now the fans are even going to go even more harder at him, even if it's not, if it's not true.
Well,
this is why this team has such problems, because of the media. I can't stand it.
I mean, I don't know if it's the team who's bringing it up. I mean, it's the media who's probably bringing it up.
No, not the team, the media. That's what I'm saying. That's what's wrong with this team. It's not the team's fault. It's the media that brings the team down. Because if it's unconfirmed, why even bring it up?
I mean, because that's their job. That's what the media does.
I get that, but it seems like they just. I didn't see any other show talk about it. It seems like they're just trying to get people watching their show.
I don't know. I mean, maybe, possibly, and this is all I'm saying. Possibly the only reason that another show didn't talk about it is because maybe they just had the plug. Maybe they knew a person who was close to the situation. You know what I'm saying? And so they were able to get that. They were able to get that information. But I mean, that's what the media does. I don't mind the media doing reports like this. What I don't like is trashing a player. I think trashing a player is something very different than just reporting something that came to them. You know what I mean? So I think those two things are different. To me, this is fair game. If it's a rumor And they very clearly said, hey, this is unconfirmed. I don't know if it's true, but this is what's been told to us. Which is the reason why I'm saying it's unconfirmed. That's what's being told to them. I'm just reporting what they said. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think now when he plays, do you think the fans, after hearing this, don't you think they're going to go even more harder on him?
Yes.
Saying, I don't want to be a Knick no more?
Yes. Which is why it's his responsibility and the team's responsibility, if this is not true, to come out and say it's not true. If he wants to be a Knick, to come out and say, I want to be a Knick. That rumor's not true. I don't know where that came from. It's his responsibility.
And I want him to stay, man. I do. I think he could still do good for us. Honestly, I do. I think he's having just a bad year. Mm-hmm. But I would want him to stay. But who knows? Listen,
I like Julius Randle as a player. You know, I know he's inefficient this season from the field. And, you know, he has his faults. Most players in the league have their faults. The one thing I can't deal with, though, is the attitude. And, you know, those type of things, regardless of who the player is, I just don't think that's healthy for your basketball team. You know what I'm saying? Earlier in the season, I was like, okay, maybe pressure is high. You know, fans are getting to him a little bit. You know, those type of things. And maybe he's having a hard time dealing with it. But he's not doing anything to help himself. Even if he's not playing well. You know what I'm saying? He can, you know, be there to, you know, support his teammates. You know, he doesn't have to have those type of antics. And it's hard. Mm-hmm. It's hard. None of us are in his position or in his situation, right? None of us have 20,000 fans yelling at us or booing us or, you know, saying we want the next player. So, you know, none of us know how. But
that could be what's messing him up, though. You know, I hear the fans are talking to his wife crazy. Like, that could be what's messing up his play, and the fans don't even realize that.
Well, I mean, listen, you know, talking to his wife, that's off limits, in my opinion. Talking about his children, that's off limits. Talk about anything personal is off limits. You know what I'm saying? And even when you're at the game, and if you don't like, you know, the way he's playing, you like, Randle, you know, what's going on, or you know, whatever. Okay, I get it. Even fans that are gonna boo, you're gonna boo, whatever. The hateful speech, you know, just like saying disrespectful things, to me is uncalled for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe he's just not built for New York, you know?
You know, I have a lot of thoughts about that saying, you know, when people say maybe he's not built for New York. I have a lot of thoughts about that. And, you know, I'll get into it later on. I've spoken about it before. I have a lot of thoughts about that. You know what I mean? Because, well, I'll get into it now. People say it all the time about these players not being built for New York, as if it hurts that player's feelings, as if those players care. They don't. They are happy to go someplace else and win a championship. They don't care if New Yorkers feel like they're built for New York or not. You know what I'm saying? They will happily go win a championship in Phoenix or Utah or
no, but what I mean
some other place. You know, they don't care about that.
Taking all the fans and the media and what they're saying, you know? Yeah. I'm not saying it in a way where it's like the New York is like it's the team. I'm talking about like just being able to handle the fans and the media. You got to be a certain type of person to do that. No, I
mean, you're right. I agree with you. And the issue is that there's not going to be a lot of players in this league that are that kind of person that can deal with it. You know what I'm saying? So while I place with what's going on right now, I do place the fault on Julius Randle and the way that he handled things. I do. But I'm not going to absolve the fans. I'm sorry, fans. I'm not going to absolve the fans because when Julius Randle is gone, which seems almost inevitable, regardless of this rumor, which seems almost inevitable, there's going to be the next guy that we do it to. You dig? There's going to be the next guy. And like it or not, and people probably telling me shut up or whatever, cool, I could take it. Like it or not, players around the league are looking and saying, I can go someplace else where I don't have to deal with it. I can still win a championship. I can still get all the marketing that I need, and I'm good. And that's just the facts. Because when you look at New York, there's already obstacles in playing in New York, right? You got the taxes, you got the weather, you know what I mean? You got all of those type of things that come into play. The fans should not be an obstacle to players coming to New York.
But let me ask you something. Don't you think all the endorsements and everything that comes with New York being here outweighs all that? Because, I think you make a lot more money in New York than you would in Milwaukee or somewhere.
But see, I don't. It depends on the level of player. If you're talking about Giannis or Kevin Durant or a player of that level, they don't need New York for marketing. The players that need New York for marketing are your second-tier players. And your second-tier players ain't winning you a championship.
Yeah.
You know? But hey, my man, I appreciate your time, man. Thank you for the call.
Absolutely.
Great
I
questions.
love the show.
Yeah, great questions, great points. You know, but, you know, and this is the thing. And so, listen, if you choose to come to New York, you probably know what you're getting into. So you got to figure out how you deal with it. You do. You got to figure out, how do I deal with this? I'm sure Julius Randle probably heard stuff before he came to New York, and he was probably like, I can deal with it. I'm good. I could take it. I got thick skin. And then he gets here and he figures out, oh, damn, maybe I can't deal with it. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, when he's looking at the way things are going over the last few games, over the last few weeks, his relationship with the fans, and I'm not saying that he's jealous of RJ, right? But, you know, things moving more towards RJ having the ball in his hands. He's probably questioning, okay, where do I fit in here in this equation? You know what I'm saying? And so that's something that's going on, too. It's crazy. You know, the way things turn around from a guy being chanted MVP one year to
bye.
Bye, I'm out of here. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. I want to play this one more time for those who are just joining us, all right, so that you know exactly what we're talking about. All right, I want you to take a listen to this clip from Carton Roberts from WFAN, clipped by my good buddy Knick Central from the Bad Weather Fans podcast, ladies and gentlemen. He just clipped it. He didn't say it. He clipped it. And this is where we got it from. So take a listen.
Rumblings, unconfirmed at this point. So I want to be very clear about that. That after last night's Knick win that everyone was at against the Chicago Bulls, we all saw Julius Randle storm off the court negatively after winning a game, that he has told the powers that be that he's done. He wants out. Now, that is an unconfirmed story. I don't want to say that it's legit or confirmed, but it's got some legs right now that the team saw him walk off the court as if they had lost, went to him after the game, and he has expressed to people in the know there, I'm done as a Knick.
Okay. Big Bubba, you heard it. You're in the building. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on, Sam? What's going on, Andy?
Chilling.
Shout out to you guys. I just want to say before we get it started, man, we got 850 people and we got 162 likes. Come on, guys. This is big news right now. Not saying that it's confirmed news, but it's some big news.
It's unconfirmed. It's an unconfirmed rumor. We gotta keep it there. We gotta keep it there.
Hey, Sam, let's make it very clear. Mr. Simeon Russell is not saying that Julius Randle said this, everybody. So I don't need people when something happens or Julius Randle stays. I don't need y'all to blame my big bro Sim because he's just reporting the news. That's what he does. But can we get them likes up, please? Can we get to at least 400 likes in the next few minutes? But yeah, Sim. So I mean, listen to it, man. Again, it's not confirmed, but if it is true, then you mean the rider was on a wall throughout the season. We've seen his attitude, his outbursts with coaching staff, with other players, just everything. Between the thumbs down and just everything with Julius Randle this season. Again, we don't know what's going on with him and within his personal life. We don't know if that's affecting seeping over on the court. Well, clearly it is. If it's something going on with his personal life, it's just unfortunate because, like you said, in less than a year, he went from MVP chance in the MVP discussion, All NBA, to wanting out within a year. And I think it's deeper than what we're seeing. Me personally, I think it's deeper than what we're seeing. And also too, and if it's just on the court stuff, then maybe he just sees that the way this team is going. Because even last night, sometimes you can see there was a possession where, RJ, Randle was in the post, he wanted the ball, and RJ had it in his hands. He decided not to give it to him, and he went with Burks, and Burks made the shot.
But also last night, R.J. Barrett was on the wing. Julius Randle was in the corner. R.J. Barrett looked to pass the ball to Julius Randle. He said, no, go ahead. You keep it. Right? So, people are going to, try to bring it up about him and R.J. Barrett. I really don't think that's the case. Even versus Detroit, when R.J. Barrett, he had the ball down the stretch, and he was, just like last night against Chicago, he had the ball down the stretch. He was doing his thing, and he missed a shot. They came back down. Julius Randle went over to him, tapped him on the chest, and they had their little conversation. You know what I'm saying? I really don't think it's that. Now, do I think that? I don't think he's jealous. Let me say that. Do I think that maybe he's wondering, okay, where do I fit? I do think that's a question, and that's probably a natural question by anybody that's in his situation. You know what I'm saying? So, it makes sense for that question to come about. But I don't think that there's jealousy between him and R.J. Barrett. That's just my opinion. All right, just my opinion. Let me get to a couple of super chats here, then I'll get some more phone calls. Johnny P., thank you for the super chat. He said, whether he said it or not, Julius is toxic. Not good for these young Knicks right now. Knicks got to send this dude packing for real. Listen, when things get tough, a person's character shows. That's when you really find out who a person is. And as much as I've supported Julius Randle, I've been watching all season long and waiting for him to, look at himself and step up and say, okay, let me change the way that I'm acting. But he hasn't. To me, that's an indicative of his character on the court. I'm not going to speak about anything off the court because I do think he's a good family man and those type of things, tries to do the right things, just out in the real world. But on the court, I think it's indicative of his character on the court. And if he does stay, something's got to change because I'm not putting it past him being here next year. Again, these are unconfirmed rumors. So I'm not putting it past him being here next season. But if that's the case, Leon Rose, Tom Thibodeau, World Wide West, they cannot overlook everything that went on this season. They've got to sit down and have a conversation with Julius Randle, a serious heart-to-heart, man-to-man conversation, and look at him in the eyes and let him know all the things that they feel like he did wrong. And then talk about ways to fix it. You have to do that, you know what I'm saying? Because it's clear that Julius Randle needs a basketball mentor. Someone to help him navigate how to deal with the attention that he's going to receive. Being in New York, being considered the guy, et cetera, et cetera. You know what I'm saying? He's never been in this situation. The past 2 years, he's basically been in this situation. Something that's new for him, he's learning. How long does it take for him to learn? I don't know. But somebody, if they have plans on moving forward with Julius Randle, they've got to sit down and have a real heart-to-heart, man-to-man conversation, and somebody's got to really break it to him like, yo, you're going about it the wrong way. And you got to figure out another way. You know what I mean? Andy, let me get to the super chat real quick. All right. Big shout out to Word XXI. I don't know if I said that right, but he said, shout out MBK, shout out to you. He said, but to be honest, he is making it real easy for us fans to let him go. Much love to him, but he got to get out of New York and save us some money. Well, it's not really going to save us any money. I can tell you that. It's not going to save the Knicks any money, because they're probably going to either bring back the same amount of money or maybe even bring back a bad contract. You know what I'm saying? But I said it to Josh last night before I even got on the show. I was like, listen, man, as much as I try to support Randle, because I think he can be a valuable player for some team, for the Knicks even. I think he can, if he can get his head on right. I think he can be a valuable player, but, man, he makes it rough. He makes it hard to continue to defend him. You know what I'm saying? And I'm all about giving a guy an opportunity to make a change. You know what I mean? But, there's really got to be some tough conversations had in order for that change to come about, if it were to come about. Andy, go ahead, man.
Yes, Tim. I had one thing I wanted to talk, but now you got me two ideas.
All right.
Listen, the first thing is going back to what you said, that, the Knicks brass and front office, general managers, whatever, they need to, do that sit along with Julius, tell him what's the problem, stuff like that. But I'm not looking only for them to help him out on the court. I'm looking for them to get him, that PR guy, manager, whatever, and try to sort this thing out with the fans. Because Sim, bro, if we somehow got LeBron James now, still more than half of these fans, because he burned us on that, that time, the decision that he made, there's no way coming back from that, bro. And Julius Randle basically burned several bridges now with Knicks fans. So he would have to do, I don't know what, to get back into favor with the fans. And that's, I think he has to do if he wants to, play for the Knicks. Because if he's not going to have fans on his side, this is going to be really going really bad and worse. This is not going to be good for him, because they can be quiet the games he plays great, but one bad game and he's going to get booed out of the building again.
Right.
And I don't think for a longer run, for a longer stretch, that's going to be possible for basically any player. And Sim, listen, this might sound funny. They can be one hero, and I got even the name of the dude on this planet that can confirm this rumor and set this whole situation straight. And listen, this can be Mark Berman. If he risks his life and asks Julius that there were rumors that you went to the Knicks office and asked for a trade, bro, he gotta brace himself, because Julius can slap the S out of him. But if he does that, and if Julius gets mad, that means he did it, bro. That's gonna mean he did it. If he plays it cool, like, listen, Mark, no, I'm not even going to joke with you this time. I never did it, and I don't intend to do this. That's going to make me feel like, listen, that was just a rumor, unconfirmed, and it never happened.
Right.
But if he's going to at least look a little bit mad, that means something has legs here, and it's going to be sooner or later.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Mark will do it.
Yeah, bro, I'm gonna have to tweet at him, because Mark he might have a story thanks to me.
Let me get to this call here. Caller, you're live, man. Tell me your name and where you're from, please.
Yo, what's up? It's Jonathan from Brooklyn.
What's going on, Jonathan?
Yo, what's good?
I'm feeling good.
All
man.
right. Realistically, if we were to give up Randle, we're attaching assets, right? So he's gonna be entering the second year of his contract. Nobody wants to take his contract on from a guy with a bad attitude, no effort. So not only are we giving off, 120 mil, we have to attach picks. We have to attach, I don't know, maybe a Deuce McBride, somebody. Nobody's just going to take Randle for nothing, right? So realistically, what do you guys see out there for Julius?
Yeah, well, actually, he has not entered his contract yet. So this year is the last year of his previous contract. That contract, his new contract, doesn't begin until next season, right? So next season he'll make $26 million next season, and then I think $28 million the season after that, and then then there's another season I think he finally makes $30 million, and then I think and then there's a team option, and if the team takes that option in that season, I think he makes like $32 million, right? So next season begins that contract. Realistically, what's out there?
So, do you see any team in the league paying him that money? And if not, if the answer is no, then where do we go from there?
I do think there are teams that will pay him that money. I don't think he has an albatross of a contract.
Really?
I don't. I mean, if you look at Julius Randle, as a matter of fact, I had this conversation with somebody on who commented on one of my videos. He said, well, I dare you to tell me of a third option that's making, $30 million a year. And I was like, well, Julius Randle doesn't make $30 million until the last year of his contract. And then I named off a list of players who are third options on their team. Some of them making $40 million, and others who, are like $35, $36 million. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think he has an albatross of a contract.
And Sim, to be honest with you, in our reality too, right? If you guys want to be technical, I mean, he's really not getting that crazy of a pay increase. Like he's jumping from 18 to 19 million to about 27 annually. So that's about $8 million more than what he's paying. Again, he got $117 million extension. So in all options, I mean, he's honestly probably be on the lower end contract wise for a third option.
Yeah. So I mean, I it's hard for me to sit right now without looking at all of the teams and what their rosters look like, you know, and say, okay, here would be the perfect fits for them. You know, it's kind of hard to do that right now. But I do think that, you know, there'll be options out there. Now, given the situation that the Knicks are in with Julius Randle, if this is true, it's a tough situation. So, yeah, it could be that the Knicks have to attach some contracts or take back a bad contract or something like that. That's the problem with trading a player, you know, whose value is at, you know, one of his lowest points.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the issue. And so it's hard to look and say, you know, how do you make this, you know, how do you make this move? So, you know, fans don't want to hear this, but it probably works out better for the Knicks. It could work out better for the Knicks to actually try to make it work so that they don't have to either lose assets or take back a bad contract to move them.
Oh yeah, that's without question. It's definitely better for the Knicks to make this work. Like that's like by all means their best approach. But is Randle bought in enough to reapproach this Knicks team with a new head on his shoulders? You know what I mean? Like everything he would have to start from ground zero, right? Like last season, I'm counting him at a zero base because of what he did last season and what happened this season. I'm not even counting the first season that he was here. So I'm starting him at a zero base, but I don't know, man.
Yeah,
if they were to retain him and they play poorly next season, Tibbs is gone. Leon Rose is going to be answering questions from Dolan, right? So
yeah, I think
it's better for the front office actually to let him go.
It's a very tough situation, you know. And listen, if they decide to let him go, if they decide it's best for the organization as a whole to let him go, I don't have a problem with that at all. You know what I mean? But if they're going to try to work it out, you know, they better be pretty sure that, you know, there's going to be some good things happening next season, you know, with him in tow, and that he's going to be able to handle, just be able to handle what's going to come after him. Because if they bring him back, like I said last night, if they bring him back next season from the first game, from the first preseason game, he's walking on eggshells. You know what I mean? I don't know what he can do during the offseason to really re-endear himself to fans. The only thing he can really do is come out, shut up, be quiet, right? And this is not equivalent to shut up and play when I say that. Okay? It's not equivalent to that.
I knew,
all right?
I see somebody typing right now.
Yeah.
Oh, how you going? Right.
It's not equivalent to that, but, you know, stop. You know, don't talk about anything about the fans. Stop yelling to the referees. Just go out and play hard and let that land wherever it lands. You know what I'm saying? You may be shooting inefficiently or whatever it is. Just go out and play hard. Try to do what the coaching staff is asking you to do and try to be a good teammate. You know what I mean? Because you already know you're going to be walking on eggshells. If the fans start chanting for Obi, just take it. You know what I'm saying? Just wear it. Just wear it. That's all you got to do. And let the chips fall where they may. Because I'll say this. Control what you can control, Julius Randle. Whatever you can control that. Don't try to control things outside of your abilities. If he does that, then maybe he'll be okay and, you know, things can kind of fade away. You know what I'm saying? But, hey, my man, thank you for the time. Thank you for the call.
Thank you for taking my call, man.
Yeah, no doubt. Appreciate you. Yeah.
Hey, Sim, first and foremost, we have 1,100 people in the chat right now watching the show. Let's get it going. Let's get it popping. Andy, what I need, like 500, 600? Something like that.
We're going to get it. We're going to get it. Go ahead, man. Tell me your comment, man, because we got people to get to. We got people.
I know. Look, it's the situation, in all honesty, isn't the worst. Because we've seen players that straight up told the media, I don't want to be here no more. You know, again, we're just basing this off of rumor. Now, if it is true, do you kind of handle this like the Melo situation though, Sim? Do you handle it like where it's, and I don't mean to that degree because it was clear as Phil Jackson didn't like Melo didn't like Phil Jackson, and that whole thing was toxic. But I think this is a chance for us not to get to that level. I feel like if Julius Randle doesn't want to be here, I feel like we can handle this quietly and we can handle this professionally. Because to me, I do agree with you, Sin, because if he comes back next season, again, we're not telling people to shut up and dribble. We're not. But we are telling a player to look, sometimes just playing ball and keeping your head down is the best thing you can do.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with anything else outside of basketball. It's sometimes you gotta just let the outside noise be just outside noise, and you just play ball, because playing ball can stop a lot of this. And I'll say this, and people know how I feel about Randle. I'm not the biggest fan of him, but if he to me played more like a traditional power forward, I really believe that he has a role on this team that could be big, and we wouldn't have to talk about trading him or even possibly having to give up an asset if he had to go that road.
That's up to Tom Thibodeau. We were talking about, Carmelo Anthony needing a basketball mentor, and Randrock, thank you for the comment. He said, I thought Carmelo was a mentor to him, and that could be, but guess what? Carmelo's in LA. You know what I mean? So he can't be here to talk him through things that's going on day to day. I'm talking about someone who is here in New York that can talk to him about what's happening day to day, how to deal with this, how to deal with that. You know what I mean? And just be around them, just be around them. And I feel like he needs that, basketball-wise at least. Caller, you live. Tell me your name and where you're from, please.
Hey, man, what up? I'm from Long Island.
What's going on? What's your name?
My name's James.
James, what's popping with you, brother? Talk to me, man.
Listen, man, I'm a fan of Randle. This guy's putting up 20 and 10. I don't really understand how everyone in the comments is saying, oh, we could trade him for nothing, get him out of here. Do we not remember this guy brought us to a 4th seed last year? All NBA player, put up third most points in the league in a season. I don't get the hate with this.
I think this is where Julius Randle gets frustrated as well. You know what I mean? I think he feels like, look what I did last year, and you guys aren't even giving me a little bit of leeway. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying, I don't mean to interrupt you. From a statistical standpoint, This guy was literally a top 5 player in the league. When you look at how many points he really scored, how many rebounds he really got, how many assists he's putting up. The first year we had Randle, he admits it. He's like, I wasn't playing my best. I'm doing the spin move. I'm turning the ball over. That was non-existent last year. This guy put New York on his back, and the fans are just giving up on it. I can't take it, man. It makes no sense. It's such a bad fan base.
Listen, you're always going to have fans in any fan base that get upset with a player if they're not playing well. And I think, I agree with you about, fans in New York being rough on players. It's no doubt about it. It just no doubt about it. If you go on Twitter, there's every single move that this guy does. They drop a video. Oh, look, he did this. There was literally a fan on Twitter who the game had not started yet. Julius Randle was standing on the court. Every single player had their warm-ups on. And he took a picture and put it out and said, look at this guy not standing in the huddle. And they were literally doing announcements, the picture that he took. You know what I'm saying? So, that to me gets a little crazy and obsessive. I'm like, come on, you can't do this every single time a player does this or that, because you never know the context of things. You know what I'm saying? But in all fairness, I think that Julius Randle could have at least quieted some of the fans by just playing and trying to keep control of his emotions. You know what I mean? For me, I'm not, the inefficient play and those things, it is what it is. It's going to happen when you play basketball. You're going to have bad seasons. I just want him to control his emotions. Keep his head down and play basketball, you know what I mean, and work that way, you know what I mean? And he's an emotional guy, and he has a hard time doing that. But I do agree, you know what I'm saying? I do feel like, we turned on him pretty quick, you know what I mean? But it's not, let's put it like this. He had a bad first season. Then the second season, it was really good. And I think there was a lot of fans that were like, okay, if you do it again, I got you. But if you don't do it, it's a wrap. I'm coming for you. I think it was kind of like that. You know what I mean? But, hey, my man, I thank you for the time. I got a lot of people trying to call in, James. I appreciate your call, bro.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah. Andy, what's going on, man?
Yeah. Sim, I just wanted to add to what the caller said. Listen, for me, it's the same thing with Evan Fournier. Dude is the first season here. Everybody bashes him, but look at the difference as how he carries himself. He never said a bad word to the fans.
Yeah.
No, win, lose, draw, whatever. Good game, bad game. He's always in the huddle, trying to do pointers, tips for the young guys, stuff like that. If he doesn't go play in the fourth quarter, he has no beef. He can, answer, tickle the reporters in the media. He ain't going to say a bad word about the organization and stuff like that. That's the way how you at least hang around.
Right.
As a Knick.
I hear you.
If you do the thing that Julius does, it rubs the Knicks fans, the other way. And like you said, it's New York, the city, the fans is everything in a fast pace. You can go, easily high and easy low, right? So
yeah, I hear you.
And Andy, I agree with you, man, because to me, right, everybody can't be an Eli Manning or a Derek Jeter. Those guys, look,
Frank Ntilikina.
No, it's to me like, because if you're gonna be a New York sports player, then if you're gonna have a demeanor, try to have it like Eli Manning. Again, Eli Manning, you didn't know if he threw a touchdown or a pick. It sucks sometimes, but it is what it is. Then you got guys like Derek Jeter, one of the true leaders of New York, and you guys got Patrick Ewing, got guys like that, guys like Carmelo to a certain extent. It's like you gotta have you either gotta have the attitude like, yo, I'm gonna be good regardless. You guys can boo, you guys can do what you want. I'm gonna go out there and play. But then you got guys that again, everybody's different. Everybody's human, so it's tough. It's tough for Randle sometimes because I get it. It can be frustrating.
It's a tough task. It's a tough task, and when we're having all these different, where the player has to have this mentality and that mentality and that mentality, players gonna be like, yeah, well, you know what? I'm gonna just go to Phoenix. I'm gonna just go to Utah. I'm gonna just go here. I'm gonna just go there because I don't need to. I don't need all of that. You know what I mean? And that's why I do think after all of this, whatever happens, plays out with Julius Randle, somehow, some way, fans gotta. I think Knicks fans do have to look at ourselves and say, all right, what are we doing here? Because other players around the league are gonna look and say, I can go someplace else and not have to deal with that and make the same amount of money. Remember, there's a salary cap, so you're not paying any extra. Make the same amount of money. Still get my marketing, maybe win a chip over there. And I know people say, well, winning is not like winning in New York. But guess what? Nobody knows what it's like winning a championship for the Knicks since 1972 or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And if I win a championship, if a player wins a championship in Phoenix, they're going to be endeared to that fan base the same way that a player would be endeared to the New York Knicks fan base. And they're going to go to Phoenix and be loved all the same. You know what I mean? And it's not like they're going to look and say, yeah, I won this championship in Phoenix, but man, I really wish I won it in New York. They're not going to do that. You know what I mean? But anyway, for those who are wondering what we're talking about, I want you to take a listen to what Carton Roberts said about Julius Randle saying he's done in New York. He's done with the Knicks. Take a listen, ladies and gentlemen.
Rumblings, unconfirmed at this point. So I want to be very clear about that after last night's Knick win that everyone was at against the Chicago Bulls, we all saw Julius Randle storm off the court negatively after winning a game that he has told the powers that be that he's done. He wants out. Now, that is an unconfirmed story. I don't want to say that it's legit or confirmed, but it's got some legs right now. That the team saw him walk off the court as if they had lost, went to him after the game, and he has expressed to people in the know there, I'm done as a Knick.
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. He said he's done as a New York Knick. Let me get to a phone call. Caller, you're live. Tell me your name and where you're from, please. Turn that down in the back if you can.
Knicks family, what's popping? It's your boy Evergreen G. What's going on?
Evergreen, what's going on, brother? How you
That's
feeling,
the
man?
Knicks.
Hey, Hey, listen. So this is in response to the last caller that called up here. There's a famous song that came out in the early 90s by an artist by the name of Janet Jackson. She has a song called "What Have You Done For Me Lately?" Ooh, 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 yeah. Okay? Now, I don't give a damn about what Julius Randle did season 1, and I don't care about the MIP accolades that he did last year. I care about what is he doing this year. Yesterday he had, 5 points and 13 rebounds on a W, and had the nerve to be upset and storm off the court as opposed to him taking accountability for his crappy play, right? And then had the nerve to come out and say this. This ain't got nothing to do with
hold on. This is
I'm not going to sit here and let y'all
Evergreen. Don't say that he said this. This is unconfirmed. It is a rumor.
Okay, fair enough. This unconfirmed. What are we doing here? Right?
I'm telling you, it's an unconfirmed rumor. That's all I'm saying.
We saw what he did yesterday. So is it? Are we gonna? I'm cool with going on plausible deniability if that's what you want to do, right? But if it is legitimate, get him out of here. Get him out of here.
I mean, if it's legit, then he's leaving.
If you can't handle it, that's fine. Right? You bit off more than you can chew when you said, I want to come to New York and probably win a championship with this. Trust me, I get it. I made a song about the guy. All right? So I'm just as upset at his play that he is at the Knicks fans. Right? I wasted my time, my valuable time, effort, and energy on making a song about the most improved player in hopes that he would come back and maybe replicate some of it, only to get pacifiers and temper tantrums. All right? If he wants to go, let him go. If he wants to stay, then you got to take what we're going to throw at you. Because that's just how we give it up here in New York City.
Yeah, but you know what? To me, I'm sorry. I just think that's kind of faulty. Oh, well, this is just it. This is just how we give it to you in New York City. Because I think that's wrong, because there's players around the league that is looking and saying, yeah, well, you do it like that in New York City. And I'm talking about stars. You do it like that in New York City for the New York Knicks, and I'm going to stay where I'm at. You guys continue to live in purgatory. Seriously.
Okay, so
seriously.
So is it easier to change 9 million fans?
Nope.
Or is it easier
It's not.
To have a player with some balls coming in?
Listen, it's not.
Basketball?
But what I'm saying is, right, is we are expecting, and we complain that players don't want to come to New York, but we're asking Julius Randle to look at himself, but we don't want to look at ourselves. We're asking other players to look at themselves, but we don't want to look at ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And some of the pressure that we also put on a player. And I'm just saying it like it is. And I don't care if people get mad at me. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter to me.
Listen,
you know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying it like the way that I see it.
Fault. I'm so cool with accepting fault as a bad fan, so to speak. But my bad fandom doesn't get trumped by your bad play. Period. If you out here sucking, you expect me to be a great fan? Oh, pat you on the back. Nobody's
asking you to say, hey, you played a good game and all of that. That's not what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? But there is legitimate. I mean, have you looked on Twitter to see exactly what people do? Have you seen people say, I'm glad he got COVID and all that crazy stuff? That's the type of stuff that I'm talking about.
And that's really like, I mean, we love basketball, right? We're so into basketball, respect and love for the game. So I'm not absolving us of that, right? And but it takes for someone that is, that understands what this Knick fandom, Knick culture is all about, to be able to separate the people such as the MBK family, right, and separate them from the modern, fanatic, if you will. We're fans, but we're not.
Evergreen. Can I say something?
But here's
Evergreen. Can I say something?
Go ahead.
Because Evergreen, right? No, I'm not trying to be funny, bro. They do not care. They don't have the time, nor do they really truly care to separate MBK fans from the toxic fans. And again, it's just, if I was them, I wouldn't care either, bro. I'm a millionaire. I'm playing ball. This is my job. bro, they're not gonna see a tweet from Sim saying "Good job, Knicks," and separate from the guy that's saying, "Yo, I wish you broke your leg and you didn't play another game for us because I want Obi."
You know
to
what
play.
that sounds like, Isaiah? You know what that sounds like? That sounds like everybody right now needs to like, comment, subscribe, and share, right? So we can get this channel bigger so that the players such as Julius Randle, Evan Fournier, RJ Barrett can see what's going on.
I mean, but still, it's like this though. It's like this, right? And I'm not absolving Julius Randle. I still, like I said earlier, I still put it on Julius Randle because you have to know how to handle it. Bottom line, you do, right? This is the NBA puts players through, different types of training. Some players, I guess, when you're a rookie, through different types of trainings, and there are, like Andy said earlier, there are people out there that can help you, publicists that can help you. You have to figure out how to handle it. Hands down, I get that 100%. But the people, just like if you're a producer, right? I'm sure you look at the mistakes that you made way harder than you look at the things that you did well. I know I do. Right?
Right.
And as a player, I'm sure you look at the criticism way more than you look at the accolades. You know what I'm saying? Because you've been getting these accolades your whole life, from the time you were in high school through college, maybe some in the NBA. You look at these accolades, but that criticism burns you up a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you respond to. How many players a million times a day get, hey, good job, Kevin Durant, good job, Kyrie, good job, hey, nice move, this and that, and this and that. They don't respond to that. But then they come out and respond to somebody who criticized them and got under their skin a little bit. You know what I mean? So it's tough, man. It is. It's tough. And, I'm saying me personally, and I don't care who likes it or not, I'm not totally absolving the fans because it's going to happen again. We see it happen time and time and time and time again. And it's going to happen again.
You said it. You said, I'm not gonna lie. You said it last year when we got rid of Ever Payton. You was like, watch. And I need you. So you should go pin that video that you did. You said, watch. We get rid of Ever Payton, it's gonna be somebody else.
When Julius Randle's gone, it's gonna be somebody else. Watch.
It's gonna be RJ. It's gonna be RJ.
But hey, Evergreen, man, I appreciate your time. I know I got a lot of people calling. Let me try to get to them.
Peace, y'all.
Peace, man.
Like,
appreciate
comment, subscribe, share the page. You know what it is. It's an MB camp. It's an MBK family. You know what's going on, right?
I appreciate you, my brother.
We're in the building. I'm out of here.
No doubt. And ladies and gentlemen, do me a favor, please. Like you said, subscribe to the channel. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you'd be notified anytime we go live or drop a video. I got about 10 more minutes left, and then I'm going to bring you right over to the controversy because my man Josh on the controversy is getting ready to talk about Tom Thibodeau and a little bit about Julius Randle. So I'm pretty sure you'll have the ability to continue this conversation. All right. So, and look, it's going to take you right to that specific video. But, we still got a little bit of time here, so I'm going to take some more phone calls. Caller, you're live. Tell me your name and where you're from, please.
D from North Carolina.
Hey, what's going on, D? How you feeling, man?
Doing good. How you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. Feeling real good.
I was just calling because I have to agree with you. A lot of the fans in New York, they take it too far, and I think that's the issue. There's nothing wrong with booing players when they're doing bad, all this stuff, but a lot of people, they take it too far, and then they wonder why, the players don't, like you said, they don't want to come here. And if it goes even further, it's just like, look what happened at the Oscars. What the fans want, the Chris Rock treatment. It's that's what happens. They take it too far. They think it's funny, and then when they get clapped back, they get upset. They need to be more supportive. Even Patrick Ewing got booed, but everybody supported him. It wasn't like they were talking about his wife and all this other stuff. And the fans now, they take it too far. There's no loyalty.
Yeah, I mean, and this is the thing. I'm going to say this, though, right? 95% of fans are not those people, right? It's those 5%. It's those 5% of fans that really do make it bad. And the problem is those fans are the loudest. And those are the fans that they are going to pay
But see, the other problem is that there's so many people in New York City that those 5% create up 50% of other market bases.
That's true. That's very true.
So you know, you see them a lot more in the city because there's so many more people there.
Right.
And it's funny because those are the same dudes that they wouldn't say that to his face. They wouldn't even say it to nobody else's face. Half the stuff they say on the internet, on calls or whatever.
I agree with you 100% right there, man. 100%. I'm with you. But hey, my man, I appreciate your time. Thank you for your call. Right.
No, thank you for taking the call.
Thank you. I want to get to some of these super chats here. One of the super chats, I'm trying to find it so I can put it up on the screen if I, but I'm definitely going to get to it. But let me start out with the ones that I have here, then I'll circle back to it, my man. First of all, let me get to Lenny Joseph. Thank you for the super chat. He said, Randle, if you want to come to an arena where fans don't boo you and turn on you, you're welcome on the Nets. Ben Simmons for Randle. You know what? I'm going to tell you what. There's going to be a lot of New Yorkers that say, hey, I'll do that. And then Ben Simmons is going to be in for the treatment. You know what I mean? So I don't know if that's going to be. I don't know if that's going to be a good thing for the Knicks for real. Because I can see that man being in for the treatment, bro.
Ben Simmons. Oh no.
He'd get it. Mike K, thank you for the super chat. He said RJ $30 million, Cam $18 million, Mitch $13 million, Randle, Fournier, Kemba for Westbrook. In a first.
Why would the Knicks do that?
Listen, he said if it ain't working, buy out, and then the kids get the playing time. Max Slaughter 23, sign and trade for Zion. Listen, if you want this whole thing, this Julius Randle times 2, then bring Westbrook here. See what happens. Come on, man. That's not happening for me.
Sim, have you seen the videos of Westbrook in LA?
I have. Let me get to the super chat. Mikey198, he said, what up, Sim, Andy, and Big Bubba? Do you guys think Woody leaving and now Kenny Payne leaving has anything to do with Randle being out of control? I do, to be honest with you. I think Woody, I just feel like Woody had that Uncle Phil type of relationship with Julius Randle. You know what I mean? And let me say this. First of all, Julius Randle has to control himself. So I don't want to put it on and say, you got to have this guy here and that guy there. He's got to control himself. But having those type of coaches, those type of basketball mentors can really, really help you out. Obviously, Kenny Payne knew him since he was a high schooler, right? Mike Woodson is just one of those guys. You've seen the way he was able to bring together J.R. Smith and those guys, Rasheed Wallace. You know what I mean? He was able to bring all of those personalities together and help to make it work. You know what I mean? You do need to have those type of guys. All in all, it has to be on Julius Randle, though. You know what I mean? And it has to be on Julius Randle. Now, let me get to another super chat. John Kim, and I'm sorry I can't get it up on the screen. He said, Randle's lazy defense isn't going to win any New York Knicks fans. We didn't pay him all that money just to play. We didn't pay him all that money just to play off. He never hustles and makes opponents. Nobody's looking like all-stars. Makes opponents nobodies like they're bad players look like all-stars. He has an immature personality. I mean, he hasn't played well at all this season. My big thing is the attitude. You know what I mean? That's my big thing with him. You know what I mean? That's my biggest thing with Julius Randle right now. It's the attitude. It's gotta change, man.
Yeah, and I do agree with you. I'm sorry, go.
Yeah, it's gotta change. Let me get to this one. SB Gorilla, thank you for the super chat. He said, let's call a spade a spade. How much more leadership does he need? We have Taj, Rose, and Kemba at a point. Everyone else on the team are excelling under the vets, but somehow he can't. We all have to look in the mirror. I agree. We all have to look in the mirror. I will say, Rose ain't speaking up to nobody. I don't know too much about Kemba Walker. Rose is a quiet dude. He's not that kind of leader. You know what I mean? But I think you need somebody. if he's going to stick around, I just think you need someone a little just. It's different than a Taj, and I think different than a Rose, right? I think it's the reason why Leon Rose wanted to bring Carmelo Anthony to New York. That's what I believe, because I believe he thought that Carmelo Anthony, having gone through the experience, would have been able to help Julius Randle during this experience, during his time here, because we all seen how Carmelo Anthony handled his time here in New York. I think that's the reason why Leon Rose wanted Carmelo.
Yeah, I think, Sim, honestly, and again, right, I do agree with you. I think the only one out of that trio that would speak up is Evan, what's his name? Taj Gibson. So I could have. It was Taj Gibson. I think out of all of those three, he's the only one I would see really speaking up. And again, you got guys. Shut up, Andy. You got guys like guys like Mike Woodson. That's like a grandfather. And you got guys like Kenny Payne. I knew him since probably like another father figure to him. Stuff like that matters, man. Because again, you never want to disrespect your grandfather, especially in front of his face. You never want to flip out. Because I do believe if Mike Woodson was here, I think he wouldn't be doing what he was doing, like flipping the stuff over in the on the sideline and stuff like that. I really don't, because you just don't disrespect somebody that you care about right in front of their face. So it's tough right now, because again, it can't always be perfect, because you can't always have these guys, because again, clearly these guys have gotten coaching jobs, so they're not always going to be there. But I really don't. I don't know.
Yeah,
I really don't.
Yeah. This is going to be my last phone call, ladies and gentlemen. Again, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you're not subscribed, we're going to keep you updated on anything that comes out about this entire situation. All right. And of course, any other rumor or trade scenario, whatever it is that comes up about the New York Knicks, we're going to keep you updated. We do a pregame show every game. We do a postgame show every game. We normally do a shoot around where we talk about different things going on with the Knicks on the days off. So make sure you join us. And then we got several different shows. We got the Controversy. We got the Queen's Court. We got the NBA Report with Ron and John. You know what I mean? We got the Crossover with Tony Crow and Steph from the Queen's Court. So, ladies and gentlemen, we got a lot here for you. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can get it all. Let me get to this phone call, and then I'm going to get up out of here and swing you over to the Controversy, where my man Josh is going to continue that conversation. Calling you live. Talk to me, man.
Hey.
Ant, what's going on, man? What's popping with you, bro?
What's going on, family? It's been a minute.
It's been a little bit. I'm feeling good. How about you?
I'm feeling all right. I felt like as a loyal, longtime subscriber, I needed to call in and get my little 2 cents in on Julius. But before I say that, let me say what's up to the chat. Salute Knick Nation. I see Andy. I see my man Chef Zeke. Let me ask you a question, sir.
Yeah. I got like 2 minutes, and so I'm glad I was able to get you. Yeah.
Has the Knicks organization, talking the organization itself, have they not been good to Julius Randle?
They have. I think they've probably been. Maybe they've been too good. I don't know, but they have. This without a doubt.
Okay. They're paying assistant coaches upwards to $4 million. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Bringing in guys specially for him, ripping up one contract, giving him a second contract, and we're watching him almost on a nightly basis implode over anything. And now this. Right? Allegedly, he said this.
Yeah, unconfirmed.
Let me tell you, Julius, save yourself the heartache, my friend. Take your family out of here. It'll be all right. It'll be all right, family. Because I'm not like Sim, you see. I don't see no ways we winning no championships with you, my guy. You're not going to be here as the third wheel while number 1 and number 2 carries us down the canyons of heroes. So, my guy, goodbye. Did I do that in less than 2 minutes?
You did it. You did it, my friend. You did it. You did it. Hey, and just, talking about the Knicks organization treating them well, from what I understand, Julius Randle and James Dolan have, they've hit it off. They're pretty close to one another. For whatever that means, you know what I mean? That's what I understand. But yo, Anthony, you always say things well, man. You always are able to put it out there and put an exclamation point on the show.
Thank you, brother.
I appreciate it.
Legendary black Italian right there. That's the black Italian right there.
But you see what it is, Sim? At the end of the day, I want to win a championship worse than I want Julius Randle to be happy here. So for Knick Nation like myself,
I dig it.
We don't care.
I dig it. I got you. Hey, and
I'm not gonna be rude. I'm not rude about it, but
I got you.
Okay.
All right. And I gotta go because I gotta get to the controversy. But I appreciate you, my brother.
All right, family.
All right. Have a good one. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate your time. I did have one more super chat I wanted to read off before I got up out of here. Let me get to it, and then I can read it off. SB Gorilla. He said, once again, we're talking about an 8-year vet, not a rookie or a second-year player. Just got to be better. I mean, first of all, let me just say this, SB Gorilla. The bottom line is what you said at the end. You just got to be better. Right? You just got to be better. I think that's the bottom line out of all of it. Just got to be better. But I will say, I understand, he's an 8-year vet and this and that, 27 years old. I still have mentors. I still have people that I rely on to give me some support when I need it. I think everybody needs that every once in a while. And in this particular situation, I don't know what's going on with the brother, man, but, he needs some support from somebody, outside of the organization, I think. You know what I mean? That can, or even if it's within the organization, I think he needs one. If he's going to be in New York, then he's going to need somebody that can help him understand how to deal with the pressure that comes with being in New York. I think somebody really needs to sit down and have a heart-to-heart with Julius Randle and force him to look in the mirror and look at his actions. I think those two things are really, really necessary. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate your time. Please subscribe to the channel. Ring that notification bell so you'll be notified anytime we go live here at NBK. And I'm out, ladies and gentlemen. And listen, the end of this video is going to take you right over to the controversy. So hopefully we'll see you there. We're done. Be peaceful. One.
This is NBK. Nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Knick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.